Consider yourself an extraterrestrial for a time. You know everything there is to know about humans because you are far more advanced than they are, and you are exploring the solar system for the best vantage point from which to study and/or dominate them. Direct landing on Earth is definitely too perilous, so what's the next best thing? Of course, we're talking about the moon. The funny thing is, according to one competing theory, this isn't a made-up scenario. That's exactly what's going on. Not only is the moon an alien base, but it is also an alien spaceship. Hello and welcome to Zeey. And today we're investigating the incredible claim that the moon is an alien spaceship. Do you require answers to the major questions? Then why not subscribe to Zeey for more videos like this one and ring the bell for more thought-provoking information. We've always been fascinated by the moon. For thousands of years, civilizations have pondered what it could be and what power it might possess. It is central to numerous myths, tales, and even entire religions. Some theories about how the moon affects our moods and behavior are based on solid science, while others are not, and the old children's joke about the moon being made of cheese hasn't gone away. Unfortunately for those of you cheddar and Edam lovers, we know that last one isn't true. However, not all strange moon beliefs have been passed down and variedly contributed to over history. A fresh hypothesis emerged in 2016 when a tiny number of people claimed that the moon would soon become neon green due to the arrangement of the planets at the time, but that also did not come to pass 6 years later. The hollow moon theory, on the other hand, is one of the most well-known strange moon theories out there. As the name implies, it proposes that our moon is a shell with an empty inside. It's also not a wholly original or innovative concept. The same has been asserted of the Earth, with an error dating back to the great astronomer Edmund Halley. Halley purportedly postulated in 1692 that the Earth was made up of alternate circular shells, with the regions in between perhaps holding their own atmospheres and life forms. Modern interpretations of hollow Earth include the possibility of a single enormous and unbroken hollow beneath the Earth, harboring everything from giants to legendary criminals to, yes, ultra-advanced aliens or lizard people. But let's get back to the moon. And the idea that it could be hollow was popularized by H.G. Wells in his early 1900s novel The First Men in the Moon. The hollow moon concept, like many other one-time sci-fi conceptions, found momentum in real-world science and then in conspiracy theory. It wasn't long before the notion evolved into something new, which became known as the spaceship moon hypothesis. In reality, another renowned science fiction writer, Isaac Asimov, played a contribution in the development of this concept. According to legend, Asimov, like others before him, pondered the strange improbability that the sun and moon, despite their vast differences, could appear nearly the same size in our sky. This became a crucial piece of evidence for those who would eventually assert that the moon was man-made. Handmade, but not by a human hand. In those early days, Asimov wasn't the only one inadvertently fueling the conspiracy. NASA, to be sure, gave more obvious evidence, albeit unintentionally. The Apollo astronauts who walked on the moon between 1969 and 1972 installed seismometers to measure any potential moonquakes. However, when filming moonquakes, NASA discovered that the moon was ringing like a bell at times. During a moonquake, energy waves echoed across the moon in a way that they do on Earth during an earthquake, with the dominant scientific explanation being that this was owing to the relative dryness of lunar rock. The idea is that because water acts as a shock absorber during earthquakes on Earth, quake measurements do not produce the same results. Nonetheless, alternative theorists saw the moon's ringing as further confirmation of its artificial character, as well as the existence of a hollowed-out core. But probably the most controversial assertion of them came around the same time, in the 1970s, when two Soviet scientists produced a research directly claiming that the moon was created by aliens. A study titled "Is the Moon the Creation of Alien Intelligence?" created quite a stir, suggesting, among other things, that the moon was dragged into place in the distant past by a comet. Or it may have been manufactured in situ, which is in orbit. It has now been contended that the entire affair was really an odd Cold War attempt by the USSR to destabilize and perplex America, and even the writers have apparently confessed that their article was more imagination than fact. However, why have people been so prone to rethinking the moon so thoroughly? And in particular, in the last century or so? One reason some are skeptical is that the moon's precise placement is so important to how our planet works. They wonder what the possibilities are of it just happening that way by coincidence. Even conventional science admits that having such a perfect balance of variables on Earth appears to be exceedingly unlikely. Proponents of a hollow moon claim that eclipses are likewise far too coincidental and that they must be caused by an artificial driver or pilot. So if that theory is right, what are those pilots doing now? What are they doing strapped into their moon-sized spaceship, studying our globe while practically all of us are completely unaware of their presence? If they're still there, they've been there for a long time. They've also yet to put a foot wrong. Aside from some inconsistent reports of strange lights or markings on the ground allegedly made by some of the Apollo astronauts, and aside from the odd, possibly linked conspiracy theory, such as the Black Knight satellite, there's nothing officially on record to even hint at the moon being anything other than what mainstream science has shown it to be, a large, natural, rocky, and solid satellite to our planet. Still, the fact that science isn't clear exactly how or when the moon evolved may be another reason why other moon hypotheses keep popping up. The giant impact hypothesis, which states that the moon most likely formed as a result of another, old and now long gone, planet colliding with Earth, is the most convincing moon formation explanation to date. Giant impact is now regarded a robust idea, however it is not without flaws. Meanwhile, some people are bothered by the moon's craters. Some argue that they are flatter than they should be and do not penetrate deeply enough into the moon's surface to meet expectations. As a result, some believe that there is an internal protective plate or metal shell just beneath the surface, an artificial structure that prevents asteroids from passing through. The precise genesis of the generic hollow moon concept is difficult to pinpoint. However, it appears in numerous, more localized myths and stories, such as those of the Zulus and other southern African cultures, and far before the likes of H.G. Wells, ASIMOV, the Apollo missions, or the Soviet Union's alien intelligence document. According to some versions of the folklore, a hollow moon was delivered to Earth rather than a conventional moon that happened to form here. And before the moon, Earth was a completely seasonless land, with a thick and stagnant atmosphere, until the moon arrived and brought the rains and floods. According to some beliefs, the moon has been looking over humanity since then, bringing us full circle to the general mood of wonder that the moon may elicit from within us. As a result, variants of the concept persist today, and not just in small communities or as relics of a bygone era. For most people, it's science fiction, but some believe that a hollow moon, or perhaps a spaceship moon, is a possibility. What are your thoughts? Check out the many other videos on our channel, the majority of which adopt the more widely accepted scientific line for our moon and then ask, what is it? What occurred when we arrived? And why haven't we returned? There's plenty of mystery, even if it's not a ruse to conceal a fully functional ET vehicle, but for the time being, that's the weird hypothesis that the moon is an alien spaceship. What are your thoughts? Is there anything we left out? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date on our latest content.